I can do it if you want. Yeah.
You're really trying very hard not to.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. That's okay.
Excellent.
Can I see that?
Give him a round of applause.
Thanks, guys. I'm Ken King. I'm the Managing Director of Melbourne. So this is an existing company in Melbourne specialising in drones. Of all sizes, particularly large ones and high efficiency drones.
Sorry, just use the mic, yeah.
Okay. Start again?
No.
No, carry on. Yep.
Okay, so everybody knows what a drone looks like typically, but this is not what I'll be talking about. So, pilot says drones on Mars. There are plans from NASA to do that with aerospace primes. This is an SME version.
You want this? Sorry, I didn't realize he was sitting here.
Thank you. Right, okay, so why drones? So Mars exploration is checking past over the last 40 years. From 9 attempts, 8 have hit the planet, 1 has missed, various ones have failed, either on impact or through their operation. Dust storm that's just taken out opportunity, I think, and curiosity. Yeah, it's a problem. So aerial drones offer a potentially better solution, just due to their nature. They're fast and light, ground rovers are slow. Aerial drones can do more, faster, further, from a different perspective, with less risk than just launching a single rover, which is very high risk to get to the planet surface. Potential for order of magnitude in reduction in costs and increase in scientific data gathering, and also potential for smaller companies to do it as well. You don't need to deliver a one-ton payload to Mars down into tens of kilos or hundreds of kilos. So current problems are, the rovers are heavy, single deployment, the wheel design is incredibly complex. We've been trying to solve it since the Apollo moon mission days, and if you've seen pictures of the Mars rovers, the wheels are destroyed nearly, and that's from moving 10 to 12 kilometers. They move very limited distance, limited perspective from the ground, and navigation is very hard with wheels. Aerial navigation is much easier. Usually if you hit something, it's game over, whereas you've got to navigate through terrain with wheels all the time. We're seeing that in self-driving cars versus successful aerial drones. So solutions to drones, so we do multiple deployments, think of, obviously not from a war context, but multiple warheads off a missile. Same thing, you can peel off multiple drones from a single incursion into Mars atmosphere. I'm proposing a guided hop solution, so spool up a roller, hop it up into the air, and then effectively glide down. So you're not actually flying, it's more like a hop. Recharge with solar panels.
1 minute?
Yeah, flying when it's advantageous instead of driving all day, every day. It's lower risk, greater exploration for potential for exploration. You can afford to lose 1 or 2 drones and still have a mission. And reduction of costs, honestly. I'll just rip through these. So significant problems there, challenges are atmosphere, gravity, dust, radiation hardening, autonomy, you name it, it's there. For scientific functions, we're talking about surveying, for carbon landings, fuel, water, potential for sampling like that, and
you are in fact out of time, my friend.
Don't tell us this.
Exactly. Don't downplay the preparation. How much more did you have? How much more of this is there?
3 or 4 slides.
That's right. So don't talk them through. But you can see the importance of pacing. Like some of you have gotten through some really interesting stuff without rushing or without having to speak quickly in the time. So I know when I said that it was going to be 3 minutes, there was a general intake of breath, but it's about storytelling, and if you guys can get really focused, 3 minutes is really doable. So, but then you need to practice. So you've got some really great information, Ken, and for you, again, lots of slides with lots of words makes it hard as a presenter to skip through it. But you know what the words are that you would say. So generally when you're trying to pitch, less words, or if you practice a lot, you can prevent yourself from reading them, but that takes practice. So just a general observation for all of you in terms of the pitching.
So so I totally concur with that. So with the slides, they should really be a complementary thing to what you are doing. You are essentially performing, you're telling a story, and you got to work out when do you want people to pay attention to you and when do you want people to pay attention to something on the screen. So if you're showing a demo, you don't want to be talking too much. You want them focusing there. Otherwise, if we're trying to read the words as well as listening to what you're saying, you might be reading the words, and even if you're not, that's good. You shouldn't be reading the slides, but you shouldn't. You should try to balance that a lot more. So I guess a rule you could do for this is, what would Steve Jobs do? He has like single words on slides and things like that. Minimalist is usually better. That's not a universal rule, but it's usually a pretty safe one to do. So do you want to ask a question? Or? Yeah, so first question. I know you've now said you've only done it in an hour, so some pictures and some demos would have been great. Even pointing over to the back of the room would have been good, some of your drones, and just said, oh, look, this is an example of what I am doing. Try to tell me, if you could try to tell me, I'm still not exactly clear what you want to do with this problem. I know you low atmospheric drones, but give me like a 1-2 sentence thing of like, what is the problem and what are you doing?
How to solve it? Yeah. The problem is that energy is very hard to obtain on Mars and punitive to carry. So the best solution for moving and landing safely is one that I believe takes energy from the ground and depletes it as it's flying. Instead of carrying it in a battery or say fuel and flying constantly, it's hot, charge it up.
Who would your customer be? Or who would this be valuable for?
Well, it has to be. This is a very small piece of very large puzzle. It would have to be the likes of NASA, SpaceX, the big space exploration companies, and potentially things like X-Prize. High-end space startups. It's a very, very difficult, as everything is in space, it's a difficult problem that requires certain expertise in areas that they may not have or have time to develop.
I haven't looked into this, but what's the atmospheric either density or conditions like in terms of the similarities between drones developed here?
Compared to Earth, it's 100,000 feet up in the air.
So sorry, it's 1% as dense
Yeah.
at the surface?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so what's the significance then for like design, what would a drone that could fly on Mars actually look like in terms of the...
It won't look like this.
No.
It will look like either a traditional helicopter, but with cartoonish kind of rotors, very, very bulbous, very big, slow moving.
Right.
Or it would look like one rotor on top of another, again, cartoonish, bulbous looking. I'm proposing things like inflatable propellers, very, very lightweight, minimalist skeleton structure.
Would it be difficult to manufacture one of these things like using current process, or is there like, is special carbon fiber wings that need like?
Absolutely, wings, carbons, and if it's inflatable, keeping the material used mylar sealed is paramount. But it's ideal for 3D printing type structures. So you can print a skeleton, print a skeleton wing, inflate it with a cover on it, and even have potentially joints that will lock up once they go under, once centrifugal force extends them and the thrust from the rotor comes into action with muscle joints.
So let's assume NASA's a customer for a second. So NASA are looking to have some low atmospheric drones, and sure, this is a small piece of. So how would you pitch this to them? How would this be better than anything they could build? And what would you say to them? Why should you solve this problem? And what team would you build?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. NASA already used the same systems that I use, the same avionics. It's not widely advertised, but Boeing do. All the flying taxis all use the same stuff I use, and I'm keeping with the developers of that. So I've got front-end access to the leading edge open source avionics. And we've got some very novel ideas. We don't have a legacy of existing technology to use. We've no hierarchy to follow. We don't have any preconceived notions of what to do, attacking this from first principles, thinking, what's the selective analysis, how do we do it, what is the problem, how do you solve it from the first principles? So I don't know if we're looking at it that way. But that's how we look at it.
I'd say you seem to have an hypothesis which is a lot different to conventional thinking. So I'd ask, is there a way that you could test or prove that hypothesis without actually being on Mars?
Yes.
That could become your beachhead zone to de-risk it for those guys who are going to spend a whole lot of
I
money.
don't think this is too hard to fathom, and it's maybe a little bit like but an atmosphere, low atmospheric chamber, vacuum chamber with some kind of balloon or robotic arms to offset the gravitational element, so you can simulate the atmosphere. And either with a balloon or even a little drone or something inside that actually then offsets the gravitational component. I think you can do a very good job of that.
Simulating. Okay, super. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for that.
So I'll sort of commit Hugh to pitch his
Yep.
one. So
Great.
Was that the last one? Or is there another one?
Is there, so how many more have we got?
I mean, I'll do the end.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Okay.
But it'll just be like 2 minutes, just a G.
Yeah, no, like, sure. Yeah.
Is there a low atmosphere room in Melbourne?
Sometimes
Maybe.
getting down to difficult and you
Yeah.
over it.
Oh, actually, because I know that VU does high altitude stuff, so maybe they have like way too.
You don't have slides for this, do you?
How can you see
No.
comparison?
Lots and lots of problems. Like waste incredibly energy.
Yeah. What is it in place?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Give him a round of applause. Warm welcome.
So I really wanted to tackle one of the NASA challenges because when they put it up a couple of months ago, I was looking through and I like doing hardware stuff. I do satellite development. So one of the ones that really jumped out at me was the Design by Nature challenge, which is to design a free-flying inspection robot for interplanetary missions that will look for micrometeoroid orbital debris impacts. So these are little tiny particles flying at crazy high velocities that could punch a hole in, say, an oxygen tank or something. And that's something you really want to know before it becomes an issue. So these things are always flying around. My proposal was going to be based on the 6U CubeSat format, so it's a world standard. It's really easy. I know who worked within it. So basically just be a composite overwrap pressure vessel filled with nitrogen, which these ships already carry because breathing atmosphere is about 80% nitrogen. So it would be replenished by docking with the mothership, the interplanetary spaceship, and then it would use these cold gas thrusters, which I also work with, just to, essentially fly around and map this. So I was thinking of using a scanning laser as it does it, using that to map the surface in 3 dimensions and then comparing it to an existing 3D model of the perfect ship. And then that way you can see the way that the light bounces off, determine it, and ultrasonic tests, all sorts of things. Like there's so much room in this for whatever sensor packages you want. It would basically have a predetermined route that's most efficient. You can generate that on a computer, a couple little bursts of nitrogen here and there, floats around, scans up, scans down, comes back, docks. You have 2 magnets, so when it gets close, it automatically, and you lock it down, inject your nitrogen, unlock the thing, have 2 little pushes, and it floats away. And it keeps doing that thing all day, every day, simply reports back to the crew. It's all good. If it finds something, tells the crew where it is, they can perform an EVA, they can have a look, they can inspect it, they can patch the hole. It's not rocket science, anyway. Yeah. So this is one of the challenges that NASA put it forward. So as they're, looking to send people to the moon and Mars and even on the International Space Station, apparently they perform EVAs with their, full suits, bulky and maneuvering units. They look out there. This takes time away that they could be doing science. They could be making dinner, whatever. But it's housekeeping basically. So it seemed like a really easy challenge. Looking at some of the animals in nature that could be inspiring, like the way the hummingbirds sort of float, and even feed a fish, the way that they sort of, it was cool.
Yeah, cool.
Analyze. Yeah.
Nice one.
Cheers.
Good work.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so it uses nitrogen, so it's some...
One question is,
me? Or for
well, you're the one who's probably going to answer it. In terms of given that this was on the same weekend as Space Out to Challenge,
Yep.
like, what, if anybody looked at what was on there, how much time we still got to make a submission?
So after the weekend, I think, and like the basically after the international dateline, I think it gets usually about 6 days. I think after that to submit.
Right.
So anybody
you have to submit an initial proposal within the 48-hour deadline, but then you get to refine that. As
they do give you like well, at least last year, they told us anyway, as the organisers, that there is a bit of leeway.
This is secret.
Yeah, maybe it is secret. There is a little bit of leeway. So if you do want to submit, so technically anybody can submit. There is a part of Space Apps that says, you can come up with your own challenge, which is why we suggest challenge. That's how initially last year we did this without calling it something else. We just said we wanted people to do other things as well. If you would like to submit, then let me know, because I have to, if you win, then we actually have to put you forward on the platform that they've got as well.
can you do that? Yeah.
Then we can do that. And I've just recorded